Welcome to this episode of Expedition to Soul. This is a coffee chat replay. So, once per week, I host a coffee chat in our community space. It's hosted in a software called Circle. It's where we host our communities for our programming. And most every Sunday, I host a coffee chat in there where we vision cast for the week ahead. We use practical tools like planning, but also the magical act of vision casting to align our lives to the way that we want to feel. And I usually bring a little extra oomph to these conversations as well. So today's podcast episode is a coffee chat replay. Sit back, unwind, grab a pen and paper, grab your planner, your vision board, and let's freaking do this. If the word witch makes you feel full of power and excitement, if you love personal development but loathe boring love and light conversation, if a sexy combo of witchery and inner work piques your interest, you're in the right place. Welcome home, Magic Maker, and welcome to Expedition to Soul, the podcast brought to you by the Sisters Enchanted.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? I am Naomi. I work with the Sisters Enchanted, and usually I'm in the marketing, sending you emails, letting you know what's going on. And today, while Sarah is out of town, I was invited to come in and do the coffee chat with you today. I am so nervous. So I am hoping that you guys will bear with me as I go through how I plan my week and talk to you a little bit about what the essence of you is and are you being true to it. So we'll just get started. So for the planning of the week ahead, I like to look at the intention that I've set and make sure that the intention of how I want to feel for the week ahead is still in check with how I am currently wanting to feel. I find that I will set an intention based on how I want to feel, and then things might change within me. I might want to alter it slightly. So right now, I want to feel uncultivated. That is my feeling, and that looks like different things every day. So I always kind of start my week with, does this still feel like the right word for me? And if it doesn't, then I make a little adjustment, checking in with myself. And then I get my planner out and I start booking in the things that I know I have to do. I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a grandma, I work full time, and I also like to be outdoors, and I like to be fishing, and I like to be exploring. And so in order to do all of those things, I like to put those must-haves on my calendar right away. For me, that could be maybe something I have to do for work. That could be taking my grandson to the library. That could be getting groceries. Whatever those things are that I have to do, put those on my planner, make time for them so that I know that I've got those pieces covered. And then I start to build what I want to be doing so that I can feel the way that I want to feel. And when those things get a little too squished together and I don't feel like I have enough time to do all the things I want to do in a week, then I start to really drill down and see if the things that I have planned are really the essence of me. Are they the things that make me me? Or am I doing things because other people have told me that I need to do that? Some past story, something my mother always used to do. Am I just doing it because I've always been told to do it? So those are the things that I will start to look at. For example, grocery shopping kills my soul. I don't like to do it. It's not something that's fun for me. And so I try to find a way that I can do it that is the essence of me. Well, the essence of me is just to get it done so I can move on and do something fun. So I order my groceries and I look for coupons to make sure I'm not spending money I could be spending on other things to order those groceries. But for me, that is something that I can do, that I can cut out of my day instead of spending 3 hours driving to the store, getting the groceries, driving back home, because I kind of live in an area where it takes a little ways to get there. If I order my groceries, then I can spend 15 minutes on the internet. I can wait for them to arrive, and then I can just put them away. And that saves me 3 hours of doing other things that I love to do. I was quite a while ago now, living a life that didn't feel like the essence of me. I was living in California. I had a job working in social work. I had property, 30 acres to take care of. I was about to buy a house that was going to put us in, California market being what California market is, was going to put us in significant debt, which means I would have to work more hours and I would have to do more things to take care of all these possessions that I had planned to buy. And it wasn't me. I was doing, actually, there's a 3-part series that Sarah did, and it asked to vision your future. What does it look like? Well, when I visioned that future for myself, I didn't see myself on that property in that house. I saw myself on a beach. I saw myself walking. I saw myself feeling peace in my heart. And at that moment, I realized that the actions that I was taking were not aligning with the essence of me. They were aligning with things that I had been told that I needed to do to be successful, to be normal, to be in alignment with expectations of other people. And I don't know that without that moment of clarity, if I wouldn't be sitting behind a desk working 60 hours a week in a job that was killing me. I would be in debt up to my eyeballs. I definitely wouldn't be exploring because I'd be paying for a house I didn't want. So going back to that, what is the essence of me? What do I picture for myself? What do I vision for myself? Is something that you can do in small pieces every week when you sit down to plan. So for me, I always keep that in mind. Am I doing things that are the essence of me? I like to be fishing. I like to have my feet in the water. I like to have a map in my hand of somewhere new I'm going to go. I love to have a ticket somewhere in my back pocket. And I love to have my grandson holding my hand right by my side. Those are things that are the essence of me. I like to be outside in the world. I like to wear black. I get a lot of flack from my family for that. But I like to wear black. It's my favorite color. I like to try foods. I won't eat seafood. I don't care what story you tell me about how much you like seafood. I'm not going to eat it, even though I like to fish. Those are all things that are the essence of me. And when I sit down to make my plan for the week, if everything I'm doing, I mean, those things, like I have to pay my taxes, I have to do those things. But if the rest of it is not aligning, and if I don't have enough of a balance in it to feel like me, then it's time for me to make some adjustments. So often I'll tell stories about the different things that I've done, especially most recently when I decided to make some changes in my life. And people will ask me, well, how could you do that? How could you abandon your responsibility? How can you just, I have too many people depending on me. I can't just do what I want when I want. And I think this fiery time of the sun and the moon being in a fiery place, we can want to take those outrageous actions. We can want to do the things that we've been thinking about doing, but we haven't been brave enough to try. And I would do them. That's who I am. I would do them. But I would also say there are consequences for the things that I do. And so Mercury retrograde is a great time to be faced with those lessons, be faced with those consequences, have things come back in your face so that you can learn a little bit more about the process of doing those things that are most authentic to you, that are part of the essence of you. And so, I think you may or may not have heard me tell the story about deciding not to buy the house that I was supposed to buy and doing the career I was supposed to do and selling all of my belongings to travel in an RV and live on the coast where I pictured myself and live by the water and fish every day And I did that. And I have to tell you that I was chasing the essence of me. I was doing the things that were feeling like me. And I wasn't always on track with what that felt like. So for me, when I landed on a beach in Baja after a hurricane, and it was 100 degrees and it was 100% humidity, and I was on the beach, I was in the picture, and it wasn't the right one for me. And so I had to adjust that plan, and I had to adjust that feeling until I could get to the place that felt right for me. So I also have family that they're not pleased with my decisions, and I have to give them the grace to have those feelings. So those are some of the things that um, I have to accept their experience. I have to accept that chasing something that, not, I wouldn't even say chasing, but following my gut, saying I need to be by the water, I need to be doing these things so that I feel most like myself, doesn't mean I'm going to get it right off the bat. And I think a lot of times when we set an intention for how we want to feel, we decide that in order to feel that way, we have to do one step and then the next step and then the next step. And if one of those steps doesn't lead us to that feeling, then we have somehow failed. And I personally disagree. I don't think that is a sign of failure. I think that's a sign of evolving and adjusting so that you can find that feeling. And I think in what makes me feel like the essence of me right now might need adjustment in 2 or 3 years. And I think that fear that we're going to try it, that we're going to be up for that feeling, and then it's not going to be what we wanted, holds us back. It's like that all those people saying, oh, this isn't a good idea. Oh, you shouldn't take that risk. All those stories that you've heard from other people come in and are somewhat, they're somehow justified now because what you didn't work out the way you thought it would. And I think that that's part of the growth that you have when you try new things. When you take action, you're going to have to adjust. You're going to take that action. You're going to say, hey, I liked this, but I didn't like this. And now you have to adjust it. And that's not failure, that's growth. And I think those stories that we hear in our own heads, those stories from when we were kids, when we're like, oh, I want to be president. And they're like, oh, well, you really can't do that. But you might be able to be president of your school or whatever. All those little tiny things that we were told we couldn't do lead us to these stories that we tell ourselves that we really can't feel that way, that that's not normal, that that's not okay, that you have responsibilities, that you have to do things for other people. I follow the essence of me, the things that I want to do all the time. And I also have responsibilities, and I also have family, and I also participate in all of those things. I don't just run around doing whatever I want, whenever I want. I'm very grounded in my decisions because I filter everything that I do through how I want to feel. And every time I come back to that, it allows me to get centered, to get grounded, and then make decisions about the next action step I'm going to take so that I can start to feel the way I want to feel consistently. So when you are building your plan for the week and you're looking at those have-tos, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, I'd really like to sit down and read that book, or I'd really like to sit down and explore my cards, or I'd really like to make homemade sourdough bread, but I don't really have the time. You're not prioritizing the things that are going to make you feel like you, or prioritizing the time that it takes to figure out how to feel the way you want to feel. And this time and space where it's the good time to take action with all this fire in the universe and the inevitable lessons to be learned during Mercury retrograde are kind of an ideal time to challenge yourself, I think, to try something new, knowing that you could face something that's going to say, that didn't work out. But if you can push past it, if you can plan for it, if you can say, I'm going to try it on this day and then I'm going to try it on this day too, and see if you can build momentum on doing those things that you want to be doing. And I think that those moments when you try and it doesn't work out, and then you adjust and you try again, I think that's part of what Mercury is here to help us with. If it works out perfect every time, I don't think you carry the same gratitude for it. You don't carry the same weight of your own accomplishments in being yourself. And truly, when you see people, often the people that I look up to most are people who live lives that are very authentic to them. They're always trying something new. They're trying something outside the box, or they're trying something that is so mundane, it's almost funny for someone who's so out in the world to come back and do something so normal. And I think when we try to make those plans, to adjust those plans, that you're really working at that essence of you, as long as you're always filtering what you're doing through that feeling that you want to feel. If you want to feel uncultivated, you want to do things that are not expected of you, it can feel like, if I'm doing things that are not expected of me, how can I possibly plan for those things? And I think that you can. I think you can plan for those things, because those moments that pop in your head that say, I'd really like to try this, and those shadowy voices come in and say, you really shouldn't do that, or that's not going to be for you, or you're not going to finish that. Why even start? Those are your moments to start working on doing those things that were unexpected of you. And I think that building that part of you into your plan, saying, I'm going to try this all week and it might not work out, and it's going to be fantastic to try it because it feels like it might be me. And those feelings can lead to bigger feelings and stronger actions. And often women my age, at least, I mean, I'm 47 years old. I'm a grandma, I'm a mom, I've had all these things happen in my life. And I can get very lost in the things that I was told to do. I can get lost in the things that are expected of me. And when I plan to challenge myself, when I plan to do the unexpected, then I actually find a lot of joy in trial and error of things. I was jealous of Anna for trying to that, because she makes all this like homemade sourdough, and I was like, oh, that feels like I should try that. I should do that. It will be so much fun. It will be so great. I'll be the best. I tried it a number of times. I can't even tell her how many times I killed sourdough starter trying to do it. And I think the trying the new thing is actually what makes it me. Not the success at it, the trying it that makes it part of me. Because I try and fail at all kinds of things. I try and fail at things that other people wouldn't even associate with me. Anybody who's familiar with me, I am up to my neck, because I'm so short, out in the beach waves, trying to cast my reel way, way out into the sea, trying to catch the biggest fish I can. Those kind of things bring me so much joy. And if you looked at me, if you made an assumption about me, that's probably not something you would guess about me. But I only know that I love it because I got a wild hair one day and decided I would try it. And it turns out that I actually do love it. So I would really, those things that pop in your head that you think, oh, I'd love to try that, but that's just too weird, or that's just too much. I think this could be the right time to give some of that a go. At least for me, it is. I would even say this is one of those things. I did not want to come on this coffee chat and talk to you about planning your week. I do it in all the things I've learned from TSE, I use it in my way. And I thought, I'm probably not going to make a lot of sense to a lot of people, and I'm probably not going to be able to share things that'll translate. And then I thought, I could just try it. I could just try it and see what happens. And the worst that happens is Sarah never asks me to do it again. But I enjoy sharing my story. I enjoy sharing how I do things, because it really does give me an opportunity to even think about why I do things the way I do it. And I think that being an individual, being a person who does things her own way, is something that a lot of people really want to do. I think many of us are at that crossroads where we're trying to figure out what the next step is, or trying to figure out who we are. And this is my way of doing that. So Sarah told me that the tip to doing this was that I don't look at the comments until we kind of get part of the way through it. And then I can go back and look at the comments and deal with that. So I didn't put any of them on the sidebar here. I knew Patty was here with me, and so she could answer things if I was totally screwing up. But I thought I would just scan through them and see if there was any questions for me. I don't see any questions. What I do see is a lot of people being very kind and witnessing my experience. And I appreciate that. And I hope that if you've gotten nothing, I know Sarah does this so well. She comes out and she tells the stories, and Anna does it in a way that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, like you're ready to go. And this is my way to apply what I've learned at TSE. I make a plan based on how I want to feel. I face challenges. I know they're coming. I try to plan for them. I try again. And if something doesn't feel like me, I change it every time. So I think that's probably the long and short of it. All right. So I do not see any questions from anybody. My ramblings led to no questions. Let's see. All right. So if somebody, oh yes, Robin, I love to fish so much. So I feel bad too, because I'm not like a hunter person. I just like to fish. I don't know. It's very weird. Okay. So sometimes you might get stuck. I don't know how I want to feel. I think Anna's tips from last week on working with the cards, who am I this week, those kind of things, those are the parts that will kick it off if I get stuck, because I do get stuck. Sometimes I'm like, I just don't feel right. I don't feel like me. How can I feel more like me? How do I want to feel this week? And I pull a card. I will tell you that I pulled this card this week, the World. And when I did that, the Wheel of Fortune fell out. So that tells you about where I'm at this week. I think it's all possible. It's all my choices that make those possibilities. And so that's what I got from that. And so when I planned this week, I don't eat seafood. I told you guys that. It doesn't matter what people tell me. I don't want it. But then I thought, well, I should try something. It's been a while. I actually have a date on my calendar. We're going to go pick up some fresh fish from the beach, and I'm going to try it this week, because I hate to say I don't do something. So I'm going to try it, even though I said I wouldn't try it, just to see. Sarah would be very proud of me, because she wants me to come to Connecticut and try all this fish. And I'm like, do they have chicken? So I am going to try some fish this week. That is on my list. I am going to take my grandson, and we are going to go make beach sand castles this week. I am going to go to a brand new beach that I've never been to before and try fishing there with my husband this week. And I'm also going to work on my taxes this week. And I'm also going to work on getting we had a tropical storm, I guess last week is what they call it here, because I'm new to the East Coast. I'm not used to that. And the roof started leaking. So my office has wet carpet all over, like lots of mess that I have to deal with. So we have to get some workers in here. I've got to rearrange furniture. But I think that is my opportunity, because, that's a totally Mercury situation. I think I'm just blaming it on the planets, but I am going to take that as an opportunity to run the fan, to be out of this space and be outside as much as possible since we were inside for the rain. I'm also going to go pick mushrooms, not because I want to, but because we have mushrooms growing in the backyard and we have dogs. So I'm going to pick mushrooms and I'm going to lay them all out and make pretty pictures of them and take something that is really in my way and possibly hang it on my wall. Wouldn't that look cool if I could dry them and make some pictures? So I have like all of those planned in my schedule for this week, as well as all the things that I have to do, including getting ready for our new event that's going to be coming up at TSE, where we're going to be exploring those shadows that we always talk about, because those stories are the ones that hang us up, ladies. They get in our way. Those stories our mom told us, those stories our sister told us, those stories our brothers told us, those stories that mean teacher told us, those stories that, we carry with us because of the mean girl in the bathroom. All of those stories hang us up. They tell us what we have to do. They get in our way. They make us try to work our lives around somebody else's expectation. And I'm done with them. I'm not going to listen to them. And when they start barking at me, I'm just going to tell them to just take a chill pill and I'm going to go do what I want. So that is that. All right. So I'm looking here. All right. So I would love to hear from you guys when we post this replay, what thing you're going to do that is unexpected of you this week. What thing are you going to do that is the essence of you? If I was to say, oh, that's so-and-so, what would that thing be? And I would really like to know. I want to know what you guys think. I also want to know that I didn't totally fail at this coffee chat thing and that you guys enjoyed your time. So please drop a comment, drop something in the replay comments and let me know, what are you going to do that is so the essence of you this week? And possibly, if lessons learned come your way, what you plan to do about that. Are you just going to try again? Are you going to make a new plan? Are you going to filter it through that feeling one more time and make sure you are on track? What are you going to do if it doesn't work out? Because chances are that could happen. It happens all the time. So let me know what the essence of you is. Have a fabulous Sunday. Make sure you get all of your planning done and go to your inbox. Find this week's newsletter. It's got a whole bunch of stuff that is all about Mercury. It's got rituals for Mercury in it based on your expansion archetype. I mean, amazing stuff in there. So make sure you go find your newsletter. If you haven't signed up for the Shadow Workshop, it's free. Something you can do. It's got a whole chakra energy challenge that you can do. So those are some things to also fit into your calendar for this week ahead, and start working on that, answering that question. What is the essence of you? So I hope you guys have a fabulous week ahead. Bye.
If you love the podcast, be sure to leave us a rating or a review. That helps us to get the word out about all we're doing here at the Sisters Enchanted. Thanks for being part of our community, and we'll see you in the next episode.